All right, and we are back another week with AIW's The Card is Going to Change. Your substitute teacher in once again. My name is Ronald Legz. I am here with AIW owner and Mr. Bookerman, John Thorne.
Third week, huh? Well, it would have been 4 weeks, but I was just a little too busy last week.
It happens.
There's just too much going on to work it in.
It happens, you know what I mean? You're the boss. You can, I was ready. You were like, no, we'll take it off. I'm like, fine by me.
Well, I usually don't like, I do like the consistency of the podcast when it's weekly and everything, but like sometimes it's just hard to squeeze it in. You know what I mean? There's just like, I was really trying to work on J-Lit shit last week and, like going back and forth with people. And then it's like, I worked more than usual hours last week. So I was just kind of like all over the fucking place. And I didn't have the time, That's the one thing that sucks is like, it's like having two jobs, right? Like I check out of the real job that like pays me. And then I have to check in and punch in to this job. And then I got to also make sure I go to sleep so I can wake up for the real job in the morning. You know what I mean? So like it really fucking condenses the time.
And it's right, actual work too.
So it really,
like, a lot of the shit people think sometimes, it's just a podcast. Like whatever. First you got to record it, come up with the bullshit to say, and then you got to edit it, do all this shit. Like it is, it's not as easy as everyone thinks.
Right, and just with juggling all the other shit, it's just like. Like you said, it's like, we're going to talk here for probably an hour or maybe longer, maybe a little less. And then you log off. Then I got to edit it. And then I got to get it up on Patreon first for the people that subscribe for the early feed. And then, I got to and I actually fucked it up because I think the last time because fucking the software. Everything is updating. It annoys me. Like
constantly.
Libsyn has changed its entire interface, and like I don't understand it. Like I used to be able to like set it for a time, and like it would go out to these things at this time, but now it's all fucked up. But now I just logged into Squadcast, and I didn't fucking understand how to set anything up because they changed everything around.
Yeah.
So that's why I was running late because I'm like. What the fuck happened to this website?
It looks totally
It's all
different.
completely, totally different.
It looks totally different. I almost thought we did. I was like, wait, is this are we using a different one? Because we've done that a couple times on PVD. We've changed because sometimes these, like the shit we use to record these and stuff, like, I don't know. Sometimes they just.
Oh, they've raised the price. It's like so expensive. And it's just like, the problem is, it's gotten so much more convenient doing it this way instead of like before. And I know you guys used to do it this way where you have to like designate a time to like get together and then like you gotta round everybody up.
Do this together, especially with now that there's four of us on the other one, like that's fucking crazy as hell. Like I couldn't even imagine. But this one, like I was saying back to, we changed a couple times because one of them you couldn't, like we would used to have wrestlers on the show that, believe it or not, we used to have actual guests on the show, and iPhones would not work on this fucking site. So we're like, every fucking wrestler has a fucking iPhone. How are we using this as our fucking platform? And it just, I don't know.
That's honestly why we, throughout COVID, barely had any guests at all because nobody is set up for podcasting, right? Like no wrestler is like, okay, I have all the shit to podcast. They have a phone, right? And then if they have a phone, they don't have headphones. And then they have an iPhone, so it didn't work. It doesn't work with Squadcast. Yeah. Now I believe it does finally, but they just made that interface or whatever. I mean, this is like, we should call this podcast Tech Talk this week, but like fucking, that's why we like eliminated guests almost all the way through COVID because everybody had an iPhone. So it's like, well, like, if it doesn't work on an iPhone, I don't know how to do it.
I don't know what to tell you.
People don't even have computers anymore. You know what I mean? Especially wrestlers. They have a phone that gets their email and everything they need on.
Yeah, because really think about it. What do you need a personal computer or even a really a laptop if you're just surfing the web? If you're just doing email and like the web and social media, you do not need a laptop. You just don't.
Right. Yeah. I for my job, because, we were like doing this like hybrid work from home stuff. Like I was like, well, fuck, I have a desktop computer, but like, because I'm like a person that needs to like sit somewhere and do something. Like I'm not like a fucking guy that can go to fucking Starbucks or
Just
whatever.
in the
Like,
corner, yeah, right.
did you see like Porter O'Shea? I don't know if you saw, he got like a new job and like he's like at a bar with his laptop out, like drinking a beer.
No,
like I can't do
paying
that.
a single lick of attention. Yeah, not at all.
Yeah, like I can't do that. Like I need to like I have like a legit desktop computer at my house, and then I was like, well, fuck, like I'm doing this hybrid work thing. If I ever wanted to go out of town, like
you don't gotta
have a desktop. So I bought an iPad instead of going full laptop, and like I fucking hardly ever use it. You know what I mean? Like I bring it with me to every show, and like maybe we'll film a promo on it or something.
I think I've filmed something on it, just like filming the line or something on your iPad.
Yeah. I hardly ever use it because I just go on my phone, my old reliable iPhone 8.
It's almost funny even to say, like, because a couple people asked me like how I got the gig to do this, and I was like, I'm pretty sure Thorne just knew I had the equipment. Same with the sound.
Yeah,
gig.
that's it.
I had
that's
it.
it.
I have the equipment.
Yeah,
to
like
do
Duke, no microphone. Like Josh Bishop actually bought all the stuff, but I just I could not handle him being the co-host.
We got to get him in here for a segment or two.
He like went.
That I love them.
He like went out. He like went out and like bought a fucking podcasting microphone and like
great.
Got a webcam and has all that shit. And like I made the mistake, like there was like a group chat and someone, Steve was doing it. Like I would just send the link in there, and then sometimes Josh would just fucking like do a run.
I remember that.
And just like click the link. And I was like, oh, that's the end of that.
Yeah, that's fucking great. I heard the one time there were you could tell that there was another like. There's like air in the background, like you could tell someone joined the call, and then he was like waiting to say so. I remember that episode of the podcast. That was great.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, it's just because I knew that you had the equipment.
Yeah. So I kind of know what I'm doing. I do one of these shows, so it's I kind of have the qualifications. So, well, speaking of, I guess we could actually talk about AI wrestling, not just podcast stuff. This week we do have AIW show this Thursday at the Winchester Music Tavern it's on Madison Avenue. Tickets are still available. If you
are they? They certainly are available.
This happens every time, especially the last couple times with Winchester. Thursday shows, they are a fucking blast.
I think it's a walk up. Like thing at this point, but I'm a little nervous, and I've been a little nervous about the last couple Winchesters, if my memory serves me correctly.
That's what I was
I'm sure
say.
somebody
Yeah,
out there.
you've been nervous every time, and every time people have shown up in droves too. Especially that place is just Thursday in general in Lakewood is just people will show up. It's if you put it on, they will come. So you might want to get there early
I hope so. Before we get into that, I mean, obviously we took the week off. Did you do anything? You celebrate your Independence Day this weekend at all?
Yeah, you know me, camper guy. I was out at the camper all weekend, just fucking, drinking and driving that golf cart around. But being that it was on a Monday, actually, the actual holiday was a Monday. We were out there, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So by the time Monday came around, I just kind of went home. We just kind of kicked it around the house, me and the wife and the kids. So, yeah, I didn't do much on the actual
I used to every year throw a huge party at my parents' house on July the 3rd, just because everybody would be off. But that kind of, I don't know, it just kind of like evolved into not happening anymore. Like, I don't know how many years ago. Probably like 5 or 6 years ago at this point. It was probably the last one, but I love some 4th of July shenanigans, I'll tell you that.
Fireworks and whatnot. Did you fire off any Roman candles or anything? Like, what'd you do this year?
Oh, yeah.
I saw you bought some stuff. I saw you post that on Facebook, I think.
Yeah, I went I went out to shout out the Phantom Fireworks in Montrose. I went out there. And they had like all these people were talking about these coupons, when they're in there. And I'm trying to understand these, like And I'm just kind of like, I don't even fucking care, right? Like, they're like, it's like if you buy a T-shirt, you get this for this, and you know, like they're trying to move like fucking merch, like Phantom Fireworks merch,
sure.
you know, and I'm like, I don't fucking know. And then it's like, if you buy something that's this much, it's this much, and finally I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just fucking throwing some shit in the fucking cart, you know, like because it was packed, because.
They're legal now, right? In Ohio, I think they're legal.
Well, they're legal, but that was the closest place to Akron, and Akron had canceled all the festivities
because the protest
for the weekend because of all the protesting and stuff for, you know, what went on, you know, what went on there a week ago. So like it was bonkers packed because, you know, like all the fireworks shows or whatever in the Akron area were canceled. So I was like, fuck, man, I'm just throwing some shit in the cart and I'm seeing what happens. And like, I got some kit. It was called the Rolling Thunder kit. It had a fucking army tank on it. And I was like, this is the one I'm getting. And I bought some swords that lit on fire and some other fucking weird shit.
I've been seeing those swords lately. I wanted to get my hands on one, but I didn't really do any. My kid, you know, Elliot's only 3, so like there was no real fireworks shenanigans for me. But those fucking swords, I've been seeing those.
I bought a couple swords. I bought a couple fireworks swords.
Damn it.
And I'm like, man, I don't know, like, because you know when you're just walking around and like it's like I'm not even like looking at prices, and I'm like.
Yeah.
Got this cart full of shit, and I'm like, fuck, man, this is going to be like 5. Because so like my little cousins were also, they're in town, and they're like 12 and like 15, right? And like my uncle passed away like years ago, so they have like no like male figure that's like teaching them any mischief, right?
Bad guy stuff.
So like they don't live around here, like they don't know anything. So I was like, I gotta get some fucking fireworks. I just gotta show up over at my grandma's house and like with some fireworks and let these kids fucking, you know, let loose a little bit, you know, because they live in like the middle of nowhere, North Carolina. They just play like video games, and they don't, you know, that. You just know, like they don't do anything bad.
Ain't seen
you know what I mean? Like they're not doing
exposed to that like that before, is what you're saying.
So like I showed up there, and I'm fucking, you know, I swung by Walmart. I got myself a fucking These Colors Don't Run shirt for $6 and a Bud Light cowboy hat.
Oh, and, man, you gotta wear that on Thursday. Are you kidding me? A Bud Light cowboy
it's in my
hat? Dude.
It's in my car still.
You know who would come out with? You got to give that to Filthy Tom. I feel like that belongs to Tom.
Dude, I went nuts in the Walmart.
That's
fucking
great.
On the $6 merch for 4th of July, and I grabbed a. You know, my grandma's like 84 years old.
Wait a minute, real quick. You were in Walmart on July 3rd? Was that the...
No, this is on the 4th, but I did see that video of the fight.
For anyone listening that doesn't know, you know, in the greater Cleveland area, John and I don't live too far from each other, but there's a Walmart near John's house that is like the fucking biggest piece of shit Walmart. And a major incident just happened on July 3rd, and I thought he was saying that he was there at the same day, because that's fucking crazy.
No, I mean, something like that could happen there
anytime,
at all times. Right. Like anybody that is from the greater Cleveland area, everyone says Steel Yard is the worst Walmart. No way, dude. You go to the Brooklyn Walmart and you'll see some fucking real bad shit all the time going on.
So,
but anyway, that's where I went. I went and I got all that shit, and I grabbed a fucking Bluetooth speaker, and I showed up at my grandma's house, you know, who she's like 84. She's like has some early dementia, you know what I mean? And like she was like determined to throw this cookout. So I'm like, all right, you know what I mean? Like, you want to throw? I showed up with all this shit with this. Came in her house with this Bud Light cowboy hat on. I was like, you wanted to throw a party?
Bag of explosives.
Like, here we go.
Like
a bag of explosives. My grandma, she didn't know any better. Went to the store, bought like an endless amount of like truly hard iced tea, thinking they were just like regular iced teas. So like she's like, I got all the kids these iced teas and stuff, and I'm like, you know, and my aunt was all mad because, you know, like, and she's like, what do you mean there's alcohol in them? It says raspberry iced tea. Like, you know, she doesn't understand. Like, she knows like beer and like whiskey. You know what I mean? She's like 84 years old,
right? She didn't get it from a liquor store. How is it
like,
liquor? She probably figures she bought it from like Walmart or
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right. She was at Giant Eagle and like, you know, she's like, oh, raspberry iced tea is sorted flavor, you know, iced tea is sorted flavors.
For the kids.
She bought like, right.
That's incredible.
And, you know, she thinks she's buying Arizona iced teas or whatever. So, you know, I show up over there with my Rolling Thunder firework kit. I plug in the Bluetooth speaker. I put on Kid Rock nonstop all day at Grandma's house. And, I let the little cousins just you know, we'll get into AIW here in a second, but just to show you how bad they are at being bad kids, is they had no idea how a lighter worked. Like, could not comprehend the science behind it. Like, were asking me how to operate a lighter, and I said, like, really? Like, is this a show for your mom or something? And they're like, you know, they're like,
never done it.
They had no fucking idea. Right. No, I'd never even seen it. Never even seen a lighter, you know, and they're like holding little, you know, orange thing down and like, then it lights and they're dropping it on the ground because they're scared of, you know what I mean? It was like, it was a whole experience, but you know, they started getting after it, you know, and did some Roman candles and firecrackers and you know, all sorts of shit.
You said was there the aunts? You said your uncle passed away, or their dad, or whoever was their aunts. Was the mom like freaking the fuck out, or was she kind of like letting?
Yeah, a little bit. Like, I was just, and you know, I started getting into those iced teas that Grandma bought, you know, so I said, hey, I'm here to teach a little mischief today.
John started getting a little buzz there going there.
Yeah, I had my 1776 These Colors Don't Run shirt on, Jesus. And I was fully embracing the 4th of July holiday, but it sucked because I had to go to work today. You know what I mean? That's what sucked about it being on a Monday. But man, fucking Cleveland, you know, because I live like in Cleveland proper, like right on the edge of like Cleveland and Brooklyn and Parma, you know what I mean? And dude, they were, and it gets, you know, it gets kind of, you know, it starts getting a little bad by me. And they were, I mean, in the hood there, they were letting it rip all night.
The new thing, well, maybe it's not even new.
A house caught on fire. Dude. A house caught on fire.
Jesus Christ, how
on
close
my street. Like 3 blocks. Like, I hopped in my car, you know, and I wanted to check it out.
John Thorne on the scene and take some video or what?
Yeah, I got on the scene. I wanted, I mean, it's 4th of July. I wanted to see some shit.
Are you here now? The new thing, I swear, people just shoot off guns on the 4th of July. So like, you're like, man, where are these bullets landing, dude? Like, it's bad enough we got falling ashes and ember. Now it's bullets that are falling.
I mean, that is a scary part about living in, you know, actual Cleveland, because, you know, it's like, is it a gunshot? Is it a firecracker? Yes. You know, is it an M80? But man, like, I drove up, there's like this school, there's like some elementary school by me, and then there's a high school by me, Rhodes High School, and like
really
when I was well, you know, whatever. And when I was driving to find this house that was on fire, there was just dudes, it was like Rough Riders, man. They were rolling around on 4-wheelers and they were lighting shit on the high school. And then the other elementary school that was close to me, there was just a pile of shit on fire. Like, it was nuts.
So Cleveland has like, I won't say like I don't know if it's a problem, but maybe they have like there's like 4-wheeler gangs and shit. The news has like covered it that they just don't give a fuck. Like, you're not street legal on any of that shit, but there's so many of them, they just don't give a fuck. It's awesome.
Yeah, and they were wilding out with the fireworks, and like, dude, like, you can't. It was like driving through the purge, honestly, because nobody gave a fuck. Like,
cops aren't giving a shit.
There's a car. I'm in my car, and they're just doing their full-on displays right in the middle of the road, and you got to either turn around or drive through it. And like, it was like that on every street by my house.
Back
like,
up
it was
Terry
insane.
On every fucking corner of the fucking just Roman can just shit just going off right in the street.
Dude, like, yeah, it was just like it was crazy, but it was also, you know, it was like, all right, you know, this is good. This is good to see. People are out having fun. You know what I mean? Except for that house that caught on fire. I'd imagine a lot of it was, there's a lot of, you know, just good, wholesome fun.
You know, that's a house on fire. That's tough.
Shout out to that. Did you ever see that Northeast Ohio Scanner Twitter account?
Well,
Did you ever see that?
Twitter, but I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah. I was looking at that when I was trying to go to sleep last night, and man, fucking wild. Cleveland was wild last night.
Yeah, it's an interesting town. That's for sure.
Anything good happen at the camper? Just your typical camping shenanigans?
Actually, you know what? They had like an '80s band on Sunday night for like the Sunday night shenanigans, and a bunch of people dressed up like wrestlers. There was an Ultimate Warrior.
We got to get a wrestling. We got to get a show out there at the camper.
So that's something we have to work on. Like towards the end of fall is when we have to go to them with it, because they book for the summer like that fall and winter. So like we got to get with them. You know what I mean? And then, but because that's a dude. I'm telling you, if I've already laid it out, that would be the easiest. Like this, it'd be easy to do. It'd be sweet as hell, and we got to get wrestling at the camper for sure.
Let's do it. I mean, I'm all for it. Speaking of wrestling, though, we do have a show this Thursday. As I've already discussed, I'm a little nervous about the attendance as of this recording. There, and there's also been. I feel like it's cursed. Like I hope that it's not cursed, but I've like felt over the last, I don't know, day and a half that the show could be cursed a little bit. Because I was reluctant to put it on the schedule, and like people like Josh Bishop and Wes Barkley were like, we gotta be at the Winchester more, like when we're setting the schedule. So I like squeezed this one in the middle of like everything, and now I'm like, man, I don't know, maybe I should have just left a little room to breathe between the rap show and Absolution. But unfortunate news, Uncle Chase has had to pull off. He got injured at GCW over the weekend, or I don't remember what day, maybe Thursday or something like that.
They had a couple shows,
but I guess he separated or dislocated his shoulder doing something. And then the Bang Bros have had to pull off because one of them has had an exposure to COVID. So they would like to err on the side of caution.
Okay.
And they're gonna test again. They're gonna test again Thursday, but they said probably count them out for this Thursday. So have not found replacements for either of those as of yet. So yeah, I mean, that's where we're at on the bad news. Dom is kind of trying to work on figuring some of that stuff out, because I mean, as I said, I was in 4th of July mode all weekend,
right.
So plus it's like, like people are doing shit. It's like, it's hard to like be like, hey, are you available? You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of I'll get back to you tomorrow shit anyway.
Yeah,
so.
And then you got, you got 9 people like, well, do you need me? And you're like, okay, well, no, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's better to kind of wait a second.
Right.
So.
Yeah, so that's where we're at. Shark Boy will be in the house. Hopefully we'll have those 8x10s, because another fucking curse is I ordered his 8x10s last week, but like the place must have taken a long holiday,
Jesus.
So like I literally just got the notification that they should arrive at my house by Thursday by 7 p.m. At the latest.
So it's all at the mercy of what time the UPS and or USPS driver or whatever gets to your house, basically.
Yeah.
Which Thursdays, sometimes, like, I'm trying to get, I know what time I get there. You're later than me, but, I mean, I got shit to do. But, yeah, I mean, that's...
I know, and, like...
it's not close to 7.
It's going to be kind of close. Right, it's... Parking sucks. Like I might be just leaving my car and Ubering over there and with the fucking bunch of 8x10s, figuring it out later, because this fucking bridge by my house is down. So there's like no easy way for me to get to Lakewood anymore, because they're building some Amazon facility or something. So like they have like the whole road to like into Lakewood closed. So I gotta like take the highway like all the way around downtown and loop around.
First world problems.
No good. I know. I'm just complaining
No,
today.
believe me, they are shutting down a railroad in my little small town, like it's a little suburb that like cuts off right. My parents don't live far from me, but it's right over this little railroad track, and they're shutting that down for like 4 days. And I was bitching to my wife about it, and she's like, "Yeah, you just have to go down that way." And I was like, "Yeah, but fuck that." So I get it, believe me.
Yeah, I don't like being inconvenienced, you know.
Gas is really expensive.
But yeah,
I need to
let's
be driving
get into
farther than I need to. You know,
dude. Don't even get me going on the gas and the not only is gas expensive, jet fuel is expensive because the price of fucking airplanes tickets is just it is not doing well for me. But yeah, so the main event we have the Rip City.
Oh, sorry, I was gonna say gas prices high as fuck. Conveniently,
I know.
Right when you're gonna be booking all these out of town people for Absolution, that's real convenient for you.
Yeah. And J-Lit is the big like.
J-Lit, right? Even, yeah, like, better point.
So, so like I was like I said, I was working on the J-Lit lineup all last week, and like I confirmed like pretty much like 23 out of 24 people for it, and there's like a lot of non-roster people in the J-Lit this year. It's a weird mix, but like we can't get a deal. Like no hotel is giving us like a deal.
Yeah,
so like that's another fucking whole thing. We thought we'd be able to get a good sponsorship thing going, and like man, RIP the Hojo, because it's been seized by the city.
It looks like there's still like people that just have broken into rooms and still just kind of squatting it out there. It's not a good scene over that way.
I did a drive by actually on the 4th of July. I did a drive by just to see like what the scene is over there, and like they have like it all barreled off, so you can't. It says like no trespassing, and it's all like chained off to not go in there. So the search continues for an official J-Lit hotel, but I'm going to count this real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, set. Like it's roughly 7 non-regular people in the J-Lit right now, and most of those are debuts. So, and it could be 8. Waiting on a few other offers to get back to me. So get those weekend packages, people.
One of the names that I was told is just that's a move, Thorne. It's a bold move, and I can't wait to see how it plays out personally. I'll just leave it at that.
We're gonna see.
I'll just leave it.
We're gonna see what happens. But yeah, so Thursday back at the Winchester, all tickets $20. AIW 3D. The first, I would say 100-ish people that come through the door on Thursday will be given a pair of old school 3D glasses to enjoy the 3D professional wrestling. I got a bunch of the the old red and blue 3D glasses to give to people for a little bit of a vibe thing, so to speak.
Yeah. Hell yeah. We're gonna have a bunch of fucking Jagaloons on the tunes before, that's for sure. I made up a whole big
surf rock. Nothing but surf rock.
Oh yeah, it's all surf rock shit. Yeah, it's very Jagaloons heavy, that's for sure. But there's a lot of stuff.
All surf rock on the pre-show playlist. Yeah, Shark Boy's going to be there. Main event, Rip City Shooters versus the Duke and Derek Dillinger.
I'm excited for that tag team combo right there. And to be honest, I kind of wish we would have seen it earlier. The Duke and Derek, like that's going to fucking rock. Versus Rip City, like that's going to be a fucking match.
Well, I mean, we saw it a little bit in the Cybernetico, and that's kind of where the seeds were planted a little bit. And we're just heading into it. It's a good, I think, go home main event right before Absolution, as we announced on the last podcast that it's going to be Derek Dillinger and Josh Bishop for both titles. Matt Cardona will relinquish them. Matt Cardona will be there at Absolution on July 23rd. I know that because I bought his flight this weekend, so it's a done deal. He will be there. That one coming from the San Diego Comic-Con, that one fucking stung a little bit, but he will be there. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this main event. Yeah, he's from Orlando. But he's coming from San Diego for Absolution, so he's getting on a red eye on Friday night.
So
and
that's even worse. That's what you meant by the con thing. Okay.
Yeah. So he will be there. He will be there in person to relinquish the Absolute and Intense titles. What else do we have on this card here on Thursday night? Let me find my notes here. We have Dom versus Jackson Stone, the rubber match, the third meeting.
Yeah.
I think that they've had some great chemistry in the first two. I think this is a perfect big match to put on the Winchester, like sometimes, the Winchester is a little bit of a mixed bag of what you're going to see, but we wanted to put this one on here to give it a little bit more oomph towards the back end of the card, because I thought that their first two matches were great, and I'll be the first to admit that I was, never really a big Jackson Stone guy. He's had a couple opportunities in AIW, and I was never really totally sold on him. But I think he's really improved over the last, year or two. And, that first match that he had with Dom, they really brought it out in each other. And I thought the second one was just as good.
Yeah. The first one.
So, too. Right. I just figured, let's throw it on. Let's throw it on again here. Then we have, Bulking Season is going to wrestle Pee-Me for the tag titles at Absolution. So we are going to give both teams a little bit of singles action here.
That one, that was actually going to be my one I was going to bring up, man. Arthur versus Philadelphia Collins. I'm sure everyone who's had social media saw that picture. Arthur referenced it in his promo that he released recently. The picture of Philadelphia Collins choking the absolute shit out of Arthur there. That rang and stuck with Arthur, and I think he's going to bring something for Philly here. I think we're going to see a really great match. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah,
especially prior to the tag team match. You get a little singles. I'm excited.
Right, and I think that how they're paired up here in singles. I think that there's a lot of potential for either of these matches to steal the show. I think Arthur MacArthur has, he's embraced the I guess gimmick wrestler, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like he's kind of, embraced that role, but he certainly has a chip on his shoulder as far as proving himself to be a respectable wrestler, and I think that this is gonna be, and we saw a little bit of it and Go for Broke. He was able to kind of get out of that shell a little bit. But he's kind of fallen back into the gimmick because obviously the gimmick works in front of a live audience. You know what I mean? Like if it's not broke, you don't fix it. But
right, exactly. It's easy to go back to if it works.
I think that he certainly wants to, and so does Philly. They both want to prove that they're not one trick ponies and, they're just tag wrestlers or whatever else. Yeah. So I think, both of these guys have something to prove, and as well, the same goes for Chuck and Marino. I think, Marino has tons of potential as, not only tag wrestler or singles wrestler, and so does Chuck. You know what I mean? Like, I think these combinations in singles matches, at least I hope, will surprise a lot of people. I think that there's a lot of people that maybe are just kind of looking past these two matches, and I don't think that they should.
Yeah, I think they're both going to be great. It's going to give you a nice preview to what we're going to see, what to expect, maybe who to kind of, put your money on here for Absolution for that tag match.
And Kaplan will still be in action. We're just opponent TBD, to be determined.
He was wrestling Uncle Chase.
Uncle Chase. Yeah.
You got to put that one back on the docket to come back around, because I was very intrigued by that match, Thorne.
Yeah, I mean it certainly is going to go back on, back in the rotation here probably. We might run that one back. We're not going to be back at the Winchester until the fall.
Mm-hmm. We got a road heavy summer schedule for sure.
Yeah, I think September. After the, I mean, I guess it never really does slow down, but it's kind of going to slow. It's going to kind of slow down in the fall, and we're going to do the Winchester. Like J-Lit is going to be the last stuff at the Odeon until December. So, I'm trying to kind of spread out the last quarter of the year, but I definitely want to put Uncle Chase and Kaplan back on the docket and get it in the rotation, because that match was one that I was fucking like, when I put that one together, I was like, yeah, this is the one right here.
Yeah. Which it also, though, now, it opens up for what something we always talk about in wrestling that everyone loves, the old surpriser match. We're going to hit Kaplan's music first, probably, and then so you're going to get a surprise. You never know what music's going to come out after that, so that's always fun,
Well, let's not get too excited just yet, because I have I've not pulled any.
It could be literally.
Haven't pulled off anything yet.
It doesn't have to be anything great. It's just up to the thrill of when you still get that fun.
Little intrigue.
Who could it be? You never know. I mean, to me, that's, as a wrestling fan, that's still just fun. Even if it's somebody you don't care about or like, whatever. Once the music hits, okay, maybe they could still have a great match. But it's just that speculation up into the surprise is always fun.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, we are working on it, but nothing yet. Then we have Riley Rose versus TKD versus Shark Boy versus Twan, and just like a total fucking off the wall 4-way scramble.
I haven't seen TKD for a bit too, so it's a return. He was off the last show.
He's been flying the friendly skies. Yeah. He's been working in the airline industry. So his availability is few and far between, but he wanted to get on this one, so. We're putting him in there with Shark Boy, Twan, and Riley Rose, which I think there's a lot of weird potential in that one as well.
Yeah, I think in that match there's 4 guys that no matter where you stand in AIW with who you like or what, there's got to be someone in that match that you could pick a side with. I think you got 4 things of everything in that one.
And then we have. Sid and Eden Von England, who now go by the Heritage, I believe, taking on 9 to 5 in a little tag team action. 9 to 5 staples of the Winchester arena. Then we have PB Smooth will be in action, taking on the Weirdster, Evan Ambrose.
Ooh. I was just saying, it's so weird that 9 to 5 is always at Thursday night, because they got to work the next morning, Friday, but they always make time for AIW.
I know.
It's nice of them.
It's ironic, isn't it? You're a little sleepy at the office on Friday.
I think they kind of like it, because they get to kind of come in and remind everyone that they also have to go to work on Friday, and they get to ruin everyone's day with it, and I kind of think they enjoy that part of it. So, that's why they do it the same.
Oh, yeah. 9 to 5. I mean, 9 to 5, I think that there's a lot of upside with those guys as well as the Von Englands. They're kind of finding their way, finding their footing in this stacked, tag division.
Oh yeah.
And then, like I said, we have PB taking on the Weirdster. Evan Ambrose will be in the house, taking on Pretty Boy Smooth.
Anytime we can see the Weirdster.
And then, as of now, unless we can find a third team to replace the Bang Bros, it will be members only versus the Bitcoin Boys in a straight up tag.
Okay.
But we are working on, if we can find a team that fits what we were looking for with the Bang Bros in there, we will add them. But as of now, that is card subject to change.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
that in itself right there is that's a great tag match. Members only versus the Bitcoin Boys. That's gonna be a good one, even if it just stays as that.
And it will be streaming on IWTV live this Thursday. So I mean, like I said, you know, I'm not going to go all doom and gloom, but tickets are slow, much slower than even slower than a slow Winchester ticket sales show. And you know, I get it, man. Maybe people spent a lot of money on fireworks. They weren't privy to that. I forgot. I think I forgot to finish my story with the Phantom fireworks. Is I went through and I bought all this stuff, and I thought it was going to be $500. Uh-huh. And they're like, "Oh yeah, you get 50% off everything." And it was like
the coupon that you didn't understand or whatever you're saying.
I got 50% off everything. It was like it was like $180 all out the door.
My problem is I would have been like, take everything I have and double it, and I'll just pay what I thought it was. Give me one more of everything. Is my dumbass pride. There's no way.
Yeah, I forgot the payoff to that story was. I thought it was going to be $500 worth of shit, and it was like $180.
I thought the payoff was you just letting your nephews just be bad for a bit.
Well, I did that too, but you know, I understand.
Of the Winchester, though, man, because it's a lower ticket option. You know, they're not as much. You know, there's no front row. You know, there's not these higher ticket price. Everyone's it's a decent walk up ticket. Feel free to come on up there Thursday, or even buy your ticket tomorrow if you don't have to wait.
$20 right out the
Winchester
out the door. $20
food too. If you're thinking about you can get food right before the show.
That's the thing. That's the thing that is like I always wind up getting like a Winchester burger.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I always end up getting like a burger from the Winchester, and like it sucks because I always end up eating before the show, and then I'm just like, I want to take a nap. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, it's massive and it's good. And like, you can't just like eat like a little bit of it and like save it for later. So, but I'm always like, but I always get it first because I was like, I got to eat food here and I don't want to fuck up and like the kitchen closes. You know what I mean? It always fucks me up. But the food of the Winchester is just like unreal good, like super underrated place.
Yeah, that's one of the perks, in my opinion. I try to get there early, get all my shit set up, get the levels, get everything good, and then I go straight to that bar and go, give me that fucking cheeseburger so I can eat it and have enough time to actually sit on my ass and just, because it's so good, you're like, oh, God.
It just like, it destroys your motivation. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to the Winchester. I think it's going to be fun. It's obviously going to be a lot more fun with a lot more people in the crowd. We're going to give everybody 3D glasses. Pedro's trying to like make some 3D-ish props and stuff like that. Like, I mean, obviously, it's like not really going to air in 3D, but we're trying to make it like a fun little environment. So come on down. Hopefully, the Shark Boy 8x10s will be there. I mean, I just want to sell some tickets, keep the momentum rolling. We have Absolution coming up, which, super limited tickets available left for that. Then we have the Fonzie tournament, which is going to be an insane day. Like,
I can't wait for that shit.
I can't even imagine what that day is going to be like because, they did inform me that they got a beer permit for the event, so it's just going to be beer sold there all day long.
Hell yes.
Food and like Bushwhacker Luke and Fonzie and Doug Gilbert. Like, it's going to be a day. And
just the idea, the logistics of it though too. Like for me, especially because I'm gonna assume that I'm responsible for most of the podcast, like sound.
You're responsible for all the podcasts.
Yeah. Like I gotta get all the figuring out all that. Plus, you know what I mean. Like it's already a logistical nightmare for me already. I'm already sweating it, but yeah. That's gonna be a fucking
have beer for sale though.
After it's all set up, then I'll be once it's like set and ready to go, and I hear podcasts being announced, but I also know we're recording them because that's like, ad odds, they're going to want to put theirs out. PVD, we want to put ours out. I'm sure Wrestling Cheat, everyone's going to want a copy of it to put on their feed. So We have to figure all this
Right.
out. And, but then we'll be fine. I'll drink a beer afterwards, or like 16. I'm not driving, that's for sure, especially because part of I think what we're doing, part of it is going to definitely involve me drinking on air. So,
Right. Oh yeah, for sure.
Are you gonna want me? Is Steve gonna be back for that live show, or should I be set to do double duty that fucking day, or should all three of us to get on there? Or you're not gonna be able to get rid of me now. People said they like me on here.
I don't know. He's still on his leave of absence. We might have a three-way dance. That
Hell
day.
yeah. I'm sure we'll have several run-ins on the AIW podcast. I'm sure some people will be poking their heads in, so I won't be surprised to me. So.
Yeah, and then we have the North Canton Street Festival, which is going to be completely free. Multiple shows that day, August 13th.
And those shows,
beer,
last year or anything, that kind of model, like the Warped Tour, the Street Festival, if that model is anything, you can see some shit you will never see at AIW. You'll see some tag teams, you'll see some gimmicks. You want to see some AIW, you come out to the Street Festival show, because that's some shit you're never going to see.
Right, and it's a lot of experimentation and a lot of different stuff and a lot of just like, it's like, those old big matches that they would put on like Coliseum home videos or whatever, where like, they were never made it to the pay-per-view or whatever. It's just like, just random matches for like a good, live experience. And I think the plan is we're going to do 4 shows again, like we did last year. Beer will also be for sale there. They have beer trucks all over that place. So you can come day drink. They got bleachers for us last year. They're going to do that again this year. So you just day drink, walk around, watch wrestling. They had axe throwing, all kinds of other crazy shit going on.
Axe throwing. Like, let's get beer.
Yeah, you could just throw it.
Hell yeah.
So how like axe throwing is like a thing, like all these places like come throw an axe. Well, like at the street festival, somebody had just like a trailer with like axe throwing on it. So like they just haul it around the carnivals and they're like, oh, here, $5, throw a couple axes.
Gimmick. We should get one of those things. We should book Ray again and see if he'll come in. We're like, where's Ray? He's set the wrestlers over there chucking axes.
Yeah. Fucking then, J-Lit weekend is really coming together in a fucking weird lineup that I think people are going to enjoy. So like I said, the premium tickets are only for sale in the weekend pass form. So buy those up.
One thing that I think people are kind of forgetting, or at least I know I wasn't like the top of my mind, but J-Lit, don't forget, we got a 2-night tournament, but we also there's that third show that weekend.
Fresh meat, which will be Saturday afternoon. So you get 3 shows. Plus, with the second round being the 4-ways, there's a lot of mysterious matches that happen on that night too, as well. So we're putting a lot of time like into the J-Lit weekend this year, hoping that we can really tie it together. And then, of course, the end of summer bash. Now that, or no class, formerly Now That's Class. Russell Rager returns to Class August 27th. We have put a limit of 300 tickets available for that. So we will not sell more than 300 tickets for that.
That's a can't miss. If you want to go to Wrestle Rager, I would suggest getting your ticket as soon as they go on sale, or signing up for the mailing list or Patreon. Patreon, you can get tickets. Usually, the Patreon gets early access, correct, or is it just the mailing list?
They're public. They're out there.
Okay, well then I'd be on buying tickets, because that one, as soon as that one's gonna go fast. As soon as tickets start selling for Wrestle Rager, that shit is gonna go fast, and that's a party.
And they are trying to get together like an after party, and if there are any bands interested in playing it, you can email Lauren at noclasscle.com.
Oh yeah.
Lauren. I don't think that there's compensation for your band, but if you're just trying to play and be a part of Wrestle Rager, hit her up and see if you can get on to play the after party, because they want people to be there all night.
I say I'll chip in some money from our the PVD fucking Patreon. We got to start a GoFundMe or something. How much does it cost to book Horse Burner? Remember that band Horse Burner Rips? It comes to all the
Horse Burner fucking
Dude,
Rips.
We should book fucking Horse Burner, bro. That would be fucking super sick.
Horse Burner fucking Rips. I thought about it.
Deal they got, you know. They gotta, maybe they'll come down on the price for us, you know what I mean? But that might not be a bad idea. That would be fucking sweet.
Horse Burner fucking Rips.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's where we're at. I don't know if there were any questions in the Discord.
Yeah, there was a few. They all mostly pertain to Steve, but we're gonna keep going. A Rose said other indie promotions have been popping up less than stellar results, and he has this bad turnout kind of give a black eye to legit promotions. Like I guess he's saying like if you squish a bunch of these shows together and you have not so great ticket sales, do you think that kind of gives you like a shitty look there for a while, or what do you think?
I think the unfortunate thing is all independent wrestling is kind of looped into this one category, right? And like the general public, like if they go to one bad one, they assume they're all like that, you know? So like if you go to this show and it's like, oh, there's 20 people there and it's not good, you don't know the difference between AIW and wrestling promotion XYZ. You know what I mean? So I do think that it does have a negative impact. And, you know, it took Cleveland a long time to recover from that because, you know, in the early 2000s, there were a lot of promotions running the west side of Cleveland.
Yeah.
And, you know, some of them were less than stellar to say the least. And you know, you would be struggling to get 75 people to show up with a you know, under $10 ticket. You know what I mean? Like it creates this like crash in the wrestling economy, so to speak. And it took years and years and years and years to build up AIW to where it's at now. But, you know, obviously, like when WWE or AEW comes to town, that is, you know, 5,000-10,000 people, right?
Right.
And we're not drawing anywhere near that. So like there is still a lot of that pool of fans that would be within the area that for whatever reason will not give a chance to an independent wrestling promotion.
They
you know
went
what I
to
mean?
one
And sometimes
once,
it's because they had,
and they're not coming back.
right.
Which is funny.
Or there's like these preconceived notions.
That's like the opposite experience that I had because my first was AIW. So I went to that and was like, this is fucking tight. And then I went to another one in Cleveland because they had booked Janela and Shane Douglas. And I went there and there was like fucking nobody there. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute, what the fuck? Like, why isn't it tight like that other place? Like, why isn't it packed and like cool? And yeah, so that was, you know, it was like the total opposite experience. But I could see how easily if I went to the other one first, I may not have gotten as back into wrestling as I did and like so much about the live show. Because when I came to AIW, I was like, man, this is what indie wrestling like. This is awesome.
Right. It's like sometimes that first impression, you know, just it will destroy a fan forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's hard to get them back. And so, yeah, I mean, it does, you know, unfortunately have an impact. And, you know, that is why I am so protective of, you know, promotions like touring through Cleveland or whatever, you know what I mean? Because I know that I can guarantee to put my best foot forward, but I don't know that I don't think that anyone else really gives a shit to do that because they're just coming through to make some money. You know what I mean?
They're not based, you know, because they're just trying to tap into what's,
right. They don't care. They don't care if the fan base supports another show or not. Right. You know what I mean? They're rolling through, getting their cash, and that's it. Yeah. You know, so that's why, you know, because all these people are always like, you know, why don't you bring this promotion here? Why don't you do something with this promotion? And it's like, well, you know what I mean? Like if something goes bad on their end, I pay the price for it. Yeah. They don't, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's very tricky, you know, and sometimes it all goes good, but you know what I mean? Like nothing's a sure thing. So that's why, you know, I would rather bet on myself to try to give, you know, put the best foot forward for the Cleveland wrestling scene than bet on somebody else to do it.
Yeah. Okay. Question from out of country fan I know we have from the Discord, Big Dan. He asks if AIW were to put forward an IWTV tag title tournament, like if that was to happen, who would AIW send to the tag title tournament? Like who would AIW's representation be?
I mean, there's a lot of answers to that question. I mean, but right now, you would have to send PME. They're the current tag team champions. Right. If it was we're picking right now, you have to send them. But you can make a case for Bulking Season, To Infinity Beyond, the main events, the Bitcoin Boy. You know what I mean? You can Rip City. You can make a case for anybody, really. You know what I mean? But gun to my head right now today, I have to send the team. It's probably going to be PME because they're the tag champions. So, they're the best representation of the company.
Right. That would be my guess. They're on a bit of a tear right now as well, too. All right. Let's see here. What else we got? Scott Random was going to ask what happened to Gary the King Baller, but we got him back, luckily, which I was, man, did I love that shit. Loved seeing Gary back.
He's a lawyer. I mean, that's, we dropped some hints for the comeback. You know what I mean? When I released the comeback statement, it was from my lawyer, Garrison King.
Yeah.
He's a legitimate lawyer. I believe he specializes in workman's comp suits. Okay. I think I think his firm maybe has contracts with cities. But I talked to him a little bit about it, but he doesn't really do too much like criminal law. It's, but he's a full on lawyer. He dedicated himself to law school and put himself through law school. And, he's a practicing attorney in, the Cleveland area now.
Rock so hard.
Working for a pretty big firm.
Hell yeah. Now he's probably really balling with all that fucking money he makes.
But he did say, he was super pumped about doing the gauntlet, and he did say that, he was gonna maybe pop into training and maybe do some Winchester shows or something like that when he has some time. Because wrestling is kind of a tricky thing when you're juggling like a career, because you don't know how it's going to play. You know what I mean? Like sometimes some people think it's cool and some people think it's like very lowbrow, so you never know how an employer is going to take it. It's a very tricky thing.
Yeah. It's almost, you want to keep that secret identity going almost type deal.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and I encourage everybody that comes through the school to like have that some sort of division if you can, because you just don't know, how it's going to impact, a job or something like that. Cause you can get some, like look what happened at Mount Carmel, like the one priest, Father Richard, he was like all about it. And then, they shipped him out of there and the other guy came in. He's like, well, I don't think this lines up with, what we want to be associated with this, even though nobody was making any sort of judgment on the church, or the school or whatever. Right. Some people just get like that and they just think it's not something to be associated with because, just like we were just talking about indie wrestling, one bad show giving it a bad rap, some guy in his 60s or 70s, probably turned on Raw during the Attitude Era and saw some weird shit and was like, nope, this is what wrestling is,
I was just going to say, they definitely tuned into some sort of Attitude Era and it's been fucking ixnay ever since.
Dude, there are venues that will still not rent for wrestling over something getting broken like 25 years ago.
Yeah, chair or table or something like that, and they're just like
they're like I'll like when we've been between venues, I would like remember venues I went to as a fan as like a teenager, and I'll hit them up and they'll be like, no, we rented it in 1999 and it didn't go too well, and it's just like
they remember the exact
that's a long time ago
type shit. Like no,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Mike wants to know any special guests for the live podcast at the fairgrounds. If we told you, it wouldn't be much of a surprise.
I mean, there's nothing like super planned for it as of yet. There's going to be plenty of people there for us to pull from. So we're gonna. I imagine we're all going to try to get somebody that's there to pop on our respective podcasts one way or another.
I'm pretty excited for our plan now. They were all mad at me because when I told you that we had some ideas, we really didn't have anything at all. But I was like, what am I going to tell this? But he doesn't want to hear that. So, but now we actually do have a plan and some shit going on. So that's why I can admit, that we didn't. But I'm pretty excited about our plan now. I had this funny idea to. So since we're not going to do this, let me run it past you now. I had this idea to take like a bunch of our Patreon money and just book somebody just completely like off the wall that's not on your card at all. So like almost like they think they're coming to this wrestling show that's like this tournament or whatever. They're like booked, but then they get there and they realize they're not booked to wrestle at all. They're just booked for the wrestling podcast, and it's us, me and my three idiots. You know what I mean? Like I just think that would be fucking hilarious as hell. Like, just book somebody, like WWE guy. Like, I don't know, just get some, we got a decent amount of money.
I'm sure if they get,
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's, I mean, as long as they get paid, I'm sure they would do it.
Like, they couldn't be mad, yeah, because, like, we'd agree on a fee and book, pay what they're asking, but they would just be coming there under these pretenses, like, oh, there's a wrestling thing, like, maybe they'll tell me what I'm doing when I get there or whatever, yada, yada, and then they get there and we're like, no, dude, you're just on our shitty podcast. The other wrestling things, something like you're not booked for that. Like, and then just get their reaction during the show. I think would just be pretty funny. Okay, let's see. So we had a question that was just rephrased. I don't know if you saw it. So.
No, I'm not looking. I don't look at them.
Someone had asked, Jack had asked about paid shows, sort of like the Street Fair Festival. Like, is there more? Have you been approached to do like more of that stuff? Because it seems like you're starting to do more of that stuff. We we did the brewery show that one time.
Oh yeah,
the Street Festival now, and like we've talked about doing the camping one. So like, is that going to be a thing maybe going forward that AIW is available?
We are in negotiations for one for the fall. It would be in a new city. But it's like they're like going about it so legit that it takes so much time. Like it's like through like the city council and all this other, like it's legit, like being brought in by the city, so like there's all this red tape and
well, maybe once that happens the first time, the next one it won't be like, once we find the waiting period or whatever, getting it done the first time, it won't be as hard those next time.
But what happened though is the city of North Canton Chamber of Commerce like wrote us a recommendation letter, and this city had representatives that were like just at the street festival and inquired with them, and they wrote a letter on our behalf.
Oh, wow. Okay. So that's cool then.
So it's kind of weird, and like Pedro's been dealing with this one because it's just so weird for me to go and like talk with these like, city officials and all this stuff, you know what I mean? And like try to sell a wrestling show to them, but there's one that's in talks for the fall, and we've also been approached by a school recently, which this would be kind of closed to AIW fans, but we were approached about doing a school assembly next school year. As like a cool little like attraction for like I think a middle school.
Yeah.
They want us to do like an hour assembly for the whole school.
I have to get everyone's music
so,
like clean versions. Definitely gonna have to clean up the show
and it's kind of funny. I've had to enlist additional troops here to start fielding some of these things because they think AIW is like a normal business hours thing. Like, I can just pop out of my AIW office. I could pop over for a meeting there, and like, so like I've had to like enlist Pedro and like Porter O'Shea, he's taking meetings on our behalf. And, we have a couple of the other students that haven't debuted yet, they're making phone calls and stuff, so it's a long answer to say, like, there's kind of some stuff cooking right now, but like nothing for sure. But, you know, we're always kind of in the, you know, we'll entertain an offer. Like the Fonzie thing is, you know, we're brought in by the festival. You know what I mean? Like, it's promoted by the Great Lakes Wrestle Fest. It's not an AIW event. It's their event. You know, we're just kind of brought in as the marquee entertainment. But, you know, like that's a similar thing to the North Canton Street Festival, to where we're kind of like hired guns for the day, you know, and like they set us a budget and we work within a budget. And, you know, we obviously want to help them make money and succeed so we can continue to do it every year.
Right. I think it's going to be even better this year. Last year was fun. I think they've learned from last year, and I think it's going to be even sweeter this year. So,
yeah, I mean, that's the hope.
All right, well, that's all we got from the Discord questions. If you have any questions for future episodes you want to ask us, feel free to drop in the Discord and put in your questions in there. Anything else you want to hit before we get out of here?
Mr. Whiskers is covering the microphone. She's right in between me and the microphone here.
She makes an appearance every week. I like it.
Yeah, she's getting a little, you know, it's close to her bedtime, so she's getting a little anxious.
She's like, be quiet now.
Yeah, she's trying to get me to shut up. All right. Yeah, so hopefully we see everybody this Thursday at the Winchester, AIW 3D, 7:30 p.m., $20 at the door, $20 on Eventbrite. You can do
man? Come on.
You can do the $5 upgrade and, you know, get you in earlier than everybody else. If you want to get a close seat, that's limited to 30. There's still a few of those available. So yeah, let's party this Thursday night. We'll probably after party just right there in the Winchester Tavern area directly after the show. And yeah, just hang out there until they kick us out Thursday night.
I think last time they had like trivia going on, and everyone came out of the wrestling and started giving the trivia guy shit. And as somebody who also runs trivia, that makes me laugh because like it's just funny to see somebody else go through it.
Yeah.
So there's always that too after the show.
All right. Well, fuck with the trivia guy this Thursday after AIW 3D.
All right. See you there.
All right. That's it. We'll see you guys this Thursday.